I'm built to endure, rooted within her, rooted within her, healed and whole, now I'm stronger for sure. Yeah. She got that truth that'll lift you up. Mindset shifted, yeah, we leveling up. From broken to bold, from tired to lit. Brittany Brown got you rooted in. Yeah. Rooted within her, rooted within her. Faith, fitness, focus, yeah, I'm built to endure. Rooted within her, rooted within her. Peace in my heart and my purpose secure. Rooted within her, rooted within her. Faith, fitness, focus, yeah, I'm built to endure. Yeah, I'm built to endure. Peace in my heart and my purpose secure.
Rooted within her, Brittany Brown. Jingle title.
Thanks for tuning in to Rooted Within Her, your go-to podcast where we're going to be talking about faith, fitness, and having a focused mindset. I am Brittany Brown. I am a veteran, author, mental health therapist, and relationship coach. And I help divorced women break unhealthy relationship cycles, heal their emotional wounds, and rebuild their identity so they can date God's way. So join us daily as we're going to be talking about faith and fitness and having a focused mindset, where you can join our free community so you can have so many resources to help you so you can heal, rebuild, and date God's way. So make sure you grab your notebook, relax, so we can focus on breaking the cycle within and focus on building a better you, because you deserve the best that life has to offer. Be blessed. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening to us today. As you are joining us with Rooted Within Her, today we have a very special guest, Miss Kerry. Hi, Kerry. How are you?
Which is great. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited for you to be on our show today, Rooted Within Her. Tell us about you and introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. Well, I'm single, never married. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I became a Christian at the age of 8. So have walked with the Lord my whole life, and faith is probably the most important thing to me. So it colors everything that I do.
Yes. And, hearing you say that, that's amazing because, a lot of times you hear people say like, okay, I got baptized at an early age and I had to do it again because I didn't really know, fully aware of like what I was entering into. But also hearing you say faith is the center of everything just helps us look at things from a different perspective. As a mental health therapist, I always ask, what are your cultural beliefs and spiritual beliefs and practices? Because that's so important. Because when you are strong in your faith, you just see life through a different lens. And so what would you say has helped you with being so rooted in your faith to just overcome some of life's hardest obstacles?
Well, 25 years ago, I started memorizing. And I even have to go back further than that because back when I was a kid at my church, we had these little youth programs. And one of them, like it was a 4th to 6th grade, they had a memorizing program. And as you memorized verses, you got this banner with like these little medals to go on it for as many verses. I wanted that banner. And so I started memorizing and I was going lickety split and I filled up my banner with all my little medals. And the organizer said, you're going too fast. We want you to slow down. And that like took all the wind out of my sails and I stopped doing it. And so later in life, I said about 25 years ago, I came back to it. And it was like all of that scripture that I had memorized when I was a child, it was there. It wasn't on the tip of my tongue because, it never goes away, obviously, when you put it in your heart. But if you're not working on it all the time, it's sitting there. It's not necessarily active. And so when I started memorizing, as an adult, I started doing it as, by book, by chapter and book. And so I have, I think 22 books now memorized and lots of other passages. And for me, that is what roots me. Because it's the truth of the word. That's what I stand on. That's what I go to. That's what I try and live my life by. Foundation of everything.
Yeah, and you're right. You can't go wrong if you're saying, hey, I'm going to root myself gold based off what does the word say. If we go, what does the word say? We can never go wrong.
If we go, what is the world saying? That's the problem, right? So if you're constantly, judging everything by what does the world say against what does the scripture say, you'll fall back onto your foundation.
That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Now, I heard you say that you are single and you've never been married. So tell our listeners, I'm pretty sure, like, okay, have you been offered where, and I say offered, but has anyone wanted to,
Have I had any proposals?
no one offered and said, hey, you know what? You are a wonderful woman. I want to marry you. You're like, no, not today. Not doing it.
I've had a couple, and they weren't serious because they were friends. For me, they were friends, and so it wasn't serious. But I had a plan when I was 18 that I was going to be married by 24 and then having kids by 30. And of course, 24 came and went, and 30 came and went, and 40 came and went. And, here we are today. And obviously that wasn't what God had planned for me. Right. So what he did is he blessed me with an ability to live life on my own. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it hasn't stopped me from not having a partner. It has allowed me to do other things that maybe people who are married and are raising children and things like that, they have a different path, and one is not better than another. It's what God has for you. And so living the life that God has for you, that's your best. It's your best life. It's your best plan.
That's very, very true. And that's where you find peace at, when you are living that life. Because one thing, as a mental health therapist, a lot of people share like, okay, the biological clock is ticking and I really want to be with this person, or they're upset because they felt like they wasted 10 years or, so much time with a person, that said they would marry and with the hopes to marry them. And, I've had so many people share that the plan was that we were going to get married. And then that person was like, I never told you that. Where did you get it? Right. So what advice would you give to someone listening today that is really trying to rush the process, or who feels like I just need to be with someone? Because one thing I've seen is a lot of people, they jump from relationship to relationship. Mm-hmm. I always tell them, you're jumping bed to bed, you need to stop. And they're like, oh, that's funny, but I'm like, it's true. Because how do you think clearly?
Well, I fall back on, what Paul said, I think it was in Philippians, about being content with whatever stage of life you are in. And, for a lot of women, being single is a stage. It's a season. It's not necessarily for their whole lives. For me, it was a lifestyle. Again, one I didn't necessarily plan on. It just happened that way. But the point is if you can really focus on being content wherever God has you today, he might have you in a different place tomorrow. You don't know that. But if you can just be content for today, then again, you have that peace. You have that sense of, all right, I'm by myself, but what can I get accomplished? Maybe I can become financially independent. Maybe I can do more travel. Maybe I can, focus on one of my hobbies that I would like to turn into a profession someday. We have lots of things that we can be doing now when we have time to prepare for whatever the next step God has for us.
Yes, that's very, very true. And so that brings us to, what do you do in your business, and how do you help people with who you are and what you do?
Well, I have two kind of different aspects of what I do. And to me, they're very married, but you see the banner I'm wearing, it says Ms. World Traveler. So that's my current big project. It takes probably 90% of my time. And it is a YouTube series that we try and inspire women to travel, even if they have to do it alone, and then shop local. So we try and promote women artists, designers, entrepreneurs, kind of like, if you go somewhere, here's some people that you'll feel like when you get there. Women just like you. They're trying to, live their best lives. So that's Ms. World Traveler. And then I've also been in the pageant industry for over 4 decades.
Okay, I see the whole stash. I'm loving that. You look gorgeous.
Yeah. This is an homage to my years in pageantry. So I do a lot of judging, and before I did Ms. World Travel, I did a lot of coaching. I do less coaching now just because my time is so tight. But so I love that whole mentoring, sewing into the lives of young women and really walking alongside them for a season. So that's something that's been very important to me and continues to be, even though I don't get to do it as much as I would like.
I love it. So how did you get into both spaces? Because traveling, I hear so many people say they want to travel, and I'm like, you just have to make this step and go.
True. And I say that a lot. Just do it, right? Borrow from Nike. Just do it.
Right.
Well, when I started traveling, it was with my mom. She took me on my first international trip when I was after college, basically as like a college graduation present. But really, even before that, my brother and sister and I were in sports. And so she loaded us up in the car and took us to swim meets and track meets. And, so she was very independent. While my dad was working, she was taking care of us. And, so I had that sort of women are independent and they can go where they want to go just because they saw my mom do it. And so we traveled together for about 10 years. And then I want to do this by myself. See if I can do it. Right. And so then it's been over 30 years. I've been traveling by myself.
I love that. So what would you say to someone who wants to travel, but they've been told that because they have children and a family and they're married, that they can't because their focus needs to be on their family? So how would you tell them to be able to balance both and still live your life, but also be there, for your family and who matters the most to you?
Sure. Well, I think life is about balance, isn't it? Just because you have responsibility doesn't mean that, there shouldn't be balance in your life. Taking some time for yourself to refresh, to spend time with God, to just be by yourself. Sometimes that is a good thing for your mental health. I'm sure you, talk to your people about that all the time. So there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't feel guilty. Right? Especially if it's time to refresh yourself. I like to think of it like withdrawals and deposits. You can only withdraw and withdraw and withdraw from yourself so much until you're running on empty. You have to have deposits, right? To fill back up so that you can give again and have withdrawals taken. So, just be seeking balance.
I love that life is about balance, because if you don't recharge yourself, you have nothing to give. And so tell our listeners, what would that look like if they wanted to be a part of your organization? And that sounds really cool, to be able to travel and meet up with other people from all across the world who are like-minded. Well,
really to quote, partner with me is really just to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow along. And of course we have Instagram as well, so you can follow with that. But, join on the adventures and be inspired. Again, I'm not trying to influence anyone. I leave that to the younger girls. I want to inspire and to bless. I really try, it's a goal of mine to bless somebody every day. And sometimes that's just, a smile and a how are you, or, saying, oh, that's a pretty dress you're wearing, whatever it is, but just bless somebody every day. And so hopefully what we do on Ms. World Traveler is a blessing to people, not only the people that we feature on the show, but also people who follow along with it.
Yes, I think that is so beautiful. And as you were talking about taking breaks, you made me think about how Jesus, he took 40 days,
He often went alone to pray. Yes.
Yes. And we have to do that, even honoring the Sabbath. Even if we started there saying each week we're going to make sure we honor the Sabbath, because Jesus modeled that, God modeled that for us. And so we have to take time for ourselves. And that's why so many people are burnt out and depleted, because they're giving so much to everybody but themselves.
Yes, very true. I'm sure you hear that all day long.
Yes. Yes. So tell our listeners, how can they, I know you said go to your YouTube channel, but can you tell us the name of that YouTube channel and how they can stay connected with you?
Yes, it's Ms. World Traveler, MS, Ms. World Traveler. And on Instagram, it's Kerry, 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 Ms. World Traveler. So, we would love to have people follow along. We're really focused toward women, and I'm all about style, fashion, art, design, antiques, that sort of thing. So we're doing something a little bit different than what all the other thousands of travel bloggers are doing, where they tell you where to stay, what to eat, that kind of thing. I'm more about shopping and style and history and culture and the things like that. So you'll see something a little bit different.
Educating. I love that.
Yes, exactly. Entertaining and educating.
There we go. That's beautiful. That reminds me how I got a chance to go to Ghana and do a retreat. And it was amazing. But we went to like the slave castle and all of that stuff. And just the education that everybody walked away from that experience was just, it's
Yes.
mind blowing. It's amazing.
It
And
is mind
so,
blowing.
yeah, so getting to travel with you, I think that is amazing that people are going to get their education and be able to see things from a different perspective. What are some local trips that you are next trips that you guys have coming up?
Well, I just got back from London 2 days ago.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
speaking at an international pageant expo,
Okay.
and I probably will not even be over my jet lag before I leave for Australia next week. And I'm going for a month. So I've taken a couple of these month trips, and the idea is to live like a local and really delve deep rather than, when you're a tourist, your time is so short. So it's just,
Mhm.
surface. You just, bop, bop, bop,
Exactly.
to different places because you have to see as much as you can in a very short time. And
Right.
everything's about being rushed. So by doing it a little bit longer, it's more in depth. It's really trying to find the things that you wouldn't find in a couple of days. And this will be like the fourth or fifth one that I've done. And I enjoy it, but it's a lot of work to get ready to go.
I love it because that's the best way to get the best experience is when you immerse yourself in the culture to see how is everyone actually living. Because the
That's
tourist
right.
part is the
Shop at
beautiful
the
part.
grocery store and use the public
Right.
transport and all those kind of things.
Yes, I love that so much. Well, as we come to a close, what are some words of encouragement you would like to give to our listeners who are kind of on the fence and they're like, hey, I want to choose myself, but maybe I don't have the finances, or maybe I don't know who can watch my kids, or all the things that we come up with, which I tell people they're valid because those are you're real, you're not making them up, but
Absolutely.
we have to push through it because if not, if we're doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same results. So, do you have a favorite quote or words of
Well,
encouragement?
I always like to say that, it's never too, in fact, I end my show with, it's never too late to go somewhere new, try something different.
That's right.
But really the thought behind that is that your dreams don't have an expiration date. If you're passionate about something, there's no age limit on it. So even if it's maybe not for today, because maybe your responsibilities take you elsewhere, there's no age limit. There's no time limit. It's never too late. So it's good to have those things out there. Hopefully you can take your first step today, but if not, tomorrow isn't too late either.
I love that so much. Just get started. Just go. It's like
Yeah,
working out, right? If you let the days pass, then you'll never get to the gym. If you tell yourself, I don't care what time of the day, I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna do it today, then you are going to make it happen. So
That's right.
thank you for being an amazing guest on our episode today.
Thanks for having me, Brittany. I appreciate it.
Yes. And I would love for you to come back and tell us more about pageants and all of the beautiful things that come back.
I could talk a long time about pageants.
And it's about making yourself beautiful, loving yourself, and I believe that it shows up from the inside on the outside, when you truly
Absolutely.
love yourself, it's going to show up. So
It doesn't really have all that much to do with the exterior as much as people who aren't in it think that it does. It's a competition, and people
that's
work
right.
prepare for competition like they prepare for the Olympics. It's just a different kind of preparation. That's all.
Exactly. Well, again, thank you so much for being an amazing guest today. We'll make sure that we follow, stay tuned, and connect with you. And you have a super blessed day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm built to endure, rooted within her, healed and whole, now I'm stronger for sure. Yeah. She got that truth that'll lift you up. Mindset shifted, yeah, we leveling up. From broken to bold, from tired to lit. Brittany Brown got you rooted in. Rooted within her, faith, fitness, focus, yeah, I'm built to endure.